So today I'm gonna share with all of you all my Neet journey. Hello everyone, those who all are new to my channel. This channel is completely dedicated to all the Neet aspirants out there so that it would help each and every one of you all in not only your preparation but also in motivating you all throughout your journey and guiding you all in each and every part of your journey. Now my journey starts in the year 2019 when I gave my 10th from state boards, and I'm not basically well adapted with physics subject. I am only quite good in biology, so I thought biology is something that I find quite easy for me. So my journey starts from my first attempt where I got 495 marks. After that, it's like getting into medical college was something much more important for me. So let's see how my journey goes. See, this is me who's standing over here. Like each and every one of you who goes to 10th class, we know that if we get a percentage around 90s or 80s, we are quite happy enough and we feel that we can do everything possible. Right? I was in the same phase, so I was quite relaxed enough in my vacation period and I did not worry much. But there was a time where I had to decide that what next, right? I can't just stay there. So there were three fields in front of me: the arts, the science, and commerce. Being biology as my favorite subject, I decided science without knowing what to take next. See, science is a subject where I thought was taken up by smart people, but it's not so. There were different fields present in science, but I did not knew much about how to enter into a field where doctors or engineers are actually exposed to. So I began researching on my laptop and started to understand which all field were open for me. My parents also used to do these research works, but I was not much more uh, having the idea about NEET or any entrance exam till now. So I searched about biotech, pharma, or I thought just continuing to go into BSc field after my 12th. But I was quite unaware what to do next. Then, as time went on, my vacation also came to an end, and it was a phase of my admission for my college. I took my college admission and I started going to my regular colleges. But there was something within me that felt that I need to do something much more than just BSc. But I couldn't take a risk because being from a middle class family, I couldn't expect something which is quite expensive. Being a doctor or engineer, I felt that there was much more expenditure that I need to do. But my parents told me about this entrance exam, and I also found out that while I give an entrance exam, I basically could get a government medical college, and the fees of government medical college ranges from 1 to 1.5 lakhs, which is quite good enough for a student who is from aiming quite high and trying to work quite hard. So I decided that if definitely my parents are giving me an opportunity, then I can't lose a chance and take it. And this is a safe job or career opportunity for me. So that's when me and my parents decided that I definitely want to give this exam and I definitely want to succeed in it. After deciding to give an exam, the basic thing that we do is we start to look for a coaching institute, right? Coaching institute, there were many of them present around, but let's see which one does suit me. So we went to different places. We found that there was Alan, there was Akash. Apart from that, Pace was also present, which was quite trending enough in these times. But after a lot of thought, after a lot of research, my parents said Akash is the best one and you need to go to the best for doing the best. So that's when they enrolled me into Akash and I began my journey. Starting from my 11th class, I gave my 100% efforts. It's obvious that I was in the last batch in the month of July. I had joined quite late enough, because my decision was quite late enough. Once I entered, I put my all efforts in understanding what the lectures were going on. The teachers used to come and teach, but I noticed one thing that was going on in the lectures was there was a test scheduled quite uh, at different intervals of time, and it wasn't fixed enough. And whenever the test used to approach, the teachers used to just go the syllabus at such a fast pace, it would just make us confused enough that how to complete the syllabus or how to understand a topic. Without understanding certain topics, I had given certain tests such as the structure of atom, basic topics, also the anatomy of flowering plants, and all of those chapters. They were taken up at a fast pace. As a result, the score in my test weren't as appreciable, and it made me feel a bit bad about my preparation. I started searching on various sites and all, but my scores used to not be as sufficient enough, and the time would not suffice. Well, the scores in my first test were the best scores, I would say, throughout my journey, because we had the chapters such as physical world, units and measurement, which does not include any of physics, and physics was the part where I lacked a lot. But as the chapters of motion in straight line, motion in plane, Newton's law of motion came, and as it went along, my score started declining, and I even looked at the questions and did not want to attempt in the fear of doing them wrong and getting all the negative scores. So at such a situation, it became so fearful that I couldn't even attempt the questions of physics because of such way of thinking of mine. As a result, my maximum time which was there was given to biology. I started studying biology from my packages, and that was the biggest mistake because I did not give NCRT even a bit of time. Though I had them, I had never opened them during my 11th and 12th preparation at all. I just knew that it's something important for the CBSE board, but I did not know that it was important for Neet as well. So that was how I gave maximum time to my biology, and I missed giving my time to physics as well. As a result, my scores in physics and chemistry were in the range of 40s to 50s out of 180, which was quite bad enough and a very bad impression for my total overall score. So as this went on, the phase of COVID-19 came into. During my 12th class, it was the lockdown phase where I actually spent the entire year at home and tried to cover my syllabus just from home. But despite of it, my scores were quite low enough. I couldn't get a good score or the full syllabus test which were conducted at the end. Those were not even given by me just because my insufficient preparation did not help me out. I was just scoring around 400 to 480 in just my full syllabus score, and that was when I stopped giving tests. In the last months, I stopped entirely, and I just gave my NEET exam on the basis of whatever I knew. I just believed that I knew everything. But when I actually gave my paper, that was when I actually knew that I had known nothing. My scores in my physics actual NEET paper were quite low, and that made me realize that I basically should have given test and should have actually attempted something. So that's how my score of my NEET exam was around 495, and that was the score which did not give me seat anywhere possible for my open category. So this was my failure, and after that I decided that I need to take a drop, and for the drop I had just 6 to 7 months because this was the batch after COVID which did not get a full year for preparation of the syllabus. So I had to plan out quite well. I told my parents that being a doctor is the only dream I have possessed so far, and I need to definitely not think about anything else apart from this. So to fulfill this dream, I basically sat down and planned all of my syllabus. I wrote down on the paper my mistakes and each and everything I had made. So this dream of mine had to be fulfilled either this time or the next time. was what I had thought earlier. So this was the last time that I had the drop year. I couldn't drop furthermore. So the last chance which I had taken, I put my 100% efforts. I took the resources which were present, that was the YouTube commonly found, and I searched which all books are important. I went through interviews, I went through various other videos which gave me idea about how to prepare for NEET. And as I continued doing so, I found out that NCERT was the only book that I had to use since the beginning. And for biology, NCERT was the only book that I had to do. Further on, I came across certain good books which I'm going to tell you all in individual subjects and how I use them. The books which were taken were only taken during my drop year. Before that, I had only my packages with me, and those also I had solved with great difficulty. So for physics, chemistry and biology, individually I'll tell you. For biology, the only book that I used was NCERT. Apart from that, there was no book used. But in case of physics, I used the Neet version of the DC Pandey. See, this book was quite great enough, it was concise enough, and even though there were certain errors in the solution, you could definitely go into the Google and search them out so that you can find all the answers correctly. And they have provided very good questions. This is not trying to promote any book, but this is sincere help that I have received from this book. Was the best variety of questions that I included in them. Apart from that, in chemistry, I used different sources. For inorganic chemistry, the NCERT was the only book I used, like biology. And for organic chemistry, I referred NCERT along with that certain video lectures so that I could get a basic idea about GOC, stereoisomerism, IUPAC, and all those basic things. And all of these lectures which were there, I wrote them down and made my own notes. For organic chemistry, apart from these things, you could also solve the packages, which I had done so. And for physical chemistry, I basically completely used the packages for my notes, and I used N. Avasti as the question book which I solved completely. It has a lot of questions, and the questions are very good enough. Each and every question is quite intriguing, and it makes you solve questions with understanding your concepts. You try to understand that why is this formula known to you and how to use them in various other questions. So NVC is a good book. Apart from that, NCERT is used by me for all the subjects written over here. At least once I have used it for physics and physical chemistry, marking the important points so that I do not miss each and every MCQ that comes in my paper. So these were the things I had used completely, and using these things I had made my own notes which could benefit me during my preparation. If I try to tell you one of the important thing that I had done during my preparation was making of question types, which I'll definitely share with all of you all during my next video which I'm going to make. The question type is one of the best approach that I had made for physics and physical chemistry. The books that I've used, I put the pictures in the end so that you may have an idea. Apart from that, there was a detailed plan that I had made for each and every subject, how many months I'm going to take for which subject, so that I won't lose any time during my drop 6 months. I won't say a drop year. Apart from that, what is the question type I'm talking about? See, suppose you are trying to solve a chapter on motion in a plane, and you come across various types of questions such as oblique projectile, horizontal projectile. Otherwise, you can also come across questions where you find the maximum height, the maximum range, the minimum height, and all of those type of questions. By writing a common question, right, questions on trajectile equation, questions on oblique projectile, and just include 1 or 2 questions of this type, and try to make the question type book so that you can revise it with lot of efficiency and makes your practice much more faster. See, each chapter I try to watch a lecture, I try to solve packages and DC Pandey, right? And lectures include approx 30 questions, packages 60 questions, and DC Pandey 100 questions. These questions can't be remembered by me till the end of my preparation. So to make it much more useful, I made a revisable method, which is question types. Here I include only the unique and different questions, and only one type of the many questions which are coming. I don't include similar questions so that I can revise them, and I can make studying physics and physical chemistry much more an active method rather than a passive process. So this was one of the most important thing that I had done, and if this is done by you all as well, I definitely think that learning physics for someone who finds it difficult would be quite easy and efficient. See, photos of these I could have uploaded in this video itself, but I do not have the book right now with me. I've given it to my friend itself. So when I get it back, I would definitely put those photos in here so that you can use it, and you can understand how to make the question type yourself as well. If I move ahead, I would definitely love to share all of those question types with all of you. Now, if I try to say that physics and physical chemistry were the only difficult part, then it won't be the actual reason of my drop. But I would also say inorganic chemistry, where you need to learn a lot of things, is also difficult if you do not revise them. So for that also, I had made a sheet in which I had written on the left side all the questions of individual lines of the NCERT, and on the right side the answers. I folded the paper and I used to match it. I used to read the question. If I didn't know the answer, only then I used to see. So that was how I did my inorganic chemistry. So this is how my NEET drop months were from September to the month of April and May. The month of April, May, I would say, not April and May, March and April were completely dedicated for my test. I couldn't skip test this time because I knew that was my major deficit I had done during my starting preparation. In the month of September, October, I completed my physics 11th and 12th using lectures and solving the questions. Almost I used to give 1.5 days for a single chapter, not more than that, because I knew I had almost 60 days. November was for organic chemistry, December only biology, and for January, November for organic. Then the month of January and February, 1st January for physical chemistry, and the month of February was for inorganic chemistry. Now if I tell you all how did I finish physics in the 2 months, see, physics completely has 30 chapters, and if you try to use 2 days for a single chapter, you will cover 30 chapters in the 60 days, that is the 2 months. And this question type makes your work much more simpler, you are much more faster, and you do not waste time in solving any questions. Apart from that, the formula sheet made by me is also one of the most important thing that you need to do. You take a sheet of paper which is small enough, not quite large sheet. You write the formula, suppose gravitational field, or you write the formula of force which is acting along the axis, or electric field. The formulas, the questions you're writing in front, and when you turn the paper backside, on the backside you write the answers of these questions itself. So this paper are handy to take whenever you are trying to read the front part of the paper. You are trying to ask your own self and making yourself to recollect the answer. If you do not get the answer, you can just turn it back and try to recollect. By doing this plenty of number of times, you automatically learn each and every formula at the tip of your fingers. For biology, NCERT was the only source, and for NCERT understanding, you can watch videos which are based on NCERT line by line. They help a lot and they cover a lot of topics in one shot. Then for organic, I said watch videos and solve questions. For organic, I combined all the chapters, that is starting from hydrocarbons, alcohols, phenols, aldehydes, carboxylic acid, ethers, all the chapters, the reaction I included in 7 sheets, and in 7 sheets I had all the reactions within me, so I used to revise them frequently. And basics of organic, I made a separate sheets so that basics won't be misplaced. Physical chemistry, again, question type and formula sheet was the thing that I followed over here as well, because both physics and physical chemistry are based on formulas. And if you have looked at Neet previous year papers, maximum formula based questions are asked. So if your formulas are clear, then most of your questions are clear. In organic chemistry, I told you, take a sheet of paper, fold it in two. On the left side, write questions. On the right side, write the answers and try to recollect your answers using the questions. And this would make your learning much more active rather than passive. And take a sheet of paper and also write all the trends starting from S, P, D, and F block. The trends include atomic size, atomic radii, then boiling point, melting point, bond dissociation, enthalpy. All the trends should be written down so that you can revise. In my test, the scores ranged. First, it was in the starting, I used to get 400, so I thought again there was no use of my preparation, so much I had done, yet I was getting such a low score. It increased till 600 just before my NEET exam day. I would say just before my NEET exam day, a day before, right? That was when I got 600, and I was quite satisfied by my preparation that I could do something productive. And on NEET exam day, it was everything that I had worked hard for that I got my score of 599 out of 720, getting a government medical college within my state, and that was one of the blessings that I got from my hard work. I would definitely say that uh, there were certain difficulties I faced during writing my paper, which I would share with you all. While you definitely write your paper, you might think that there is quite a silence in the room where you're writing your paper, but it's not so. The supervisors are quite disturbing enough, which also made my preparation, my exam day a bit stressful. But I know it was all worth it, and I know that this was my last chance. However, the distractions or disturbance maybe, I have to do it, and it's all hard work, but not impossible. I would wish all of you the best, and I would know your journey through the comment box. Do write down each and everything that you all felt, and you are free to ask any questions. These are my book. This is Narendra Vasti. These are the way I solved the questions in it. I used to solve it in that place itself so that I could not waste time in solving questions. And you can see chemical kinetics chapter. And lastly, there is TC Pandey, which is also solved. There are two versions of it. I've just put the photo of one. There are similar, both the versions you can solve them, and it would just help you all in covering each and every topic of physics in less time, that is in 2 days.